I am the FM Addict, and welcome to a special video. It's not really something I've done before. The other day, this might be a kind of a fun experiment to do. So, we're in the downtime between Football Manager 20 saves kind of finishing up, and Football Manager 21 being about a month away. I'm kind of between saves. I've got a couple of saves that are finishing or have finished, and I've been writing blogs about them. But yeah, they're like a month away and they're finished. So I was having a look the other day at things that could be fun to like mess around with on Football Manager, and this is one of them. So the kind of idea of this concept comes from I think I was listening to a podcast the other week, and they were talking about kind of the embarrassment of riches that England have at right back. So obviously players like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James coming through at Chelsea, Wan-Bissaka at Man United. That kind of made me think, could we put out a team of English right backs? And if we could, how would they get on if they all played together? Now, obviously, this idea is massively flawed because if you had a team full of right backs, you're not going to have a goalkeeper, you don't have any strikers. Some of them will be able to cover in midfield, right wing, left back, left midfield, maybe. Some of them will also be able to play centre back. Yeah, it made me think, what would happen if this happened? Well, how would it go if this happened? So what I've done is I've gone into Football Manager. I've created a club. That club is England Right Backs FC. I am Trevor Martal, Brazilian manager, and I set the team up without any players. Went into it and I kind of moved every right back I could think of who's English and might be eligible to play for England, but their primary position is right back to the club. I've also used Leyton Orient as the base team. I don't know why. I looked at League Two and went into Leyton Orient. No offence to Leyton Orient. I've put every right back I could think of who's a right back and is English at the club. So let's kind of sort this in terms of value. Obviously, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is the best right back in England at the moment. Valued at 52 million. All their wages have obviously been limited within the budget. I've given them a bit more money than they would have in League Two, just to kind of help them stay afloat. Obviously, Trent is one of those players who can play in various positions. So he can play right wing, he can play centre midfield, he can holding midfield, he can cover at left back, and he's kind of pretty bad at centre back. But he's the kind of player who might be able to train further up the field. Sticking with Liverpool, we also have Joe Gomez, who can play anywhere at the back and potentially a little bit further forwards. We also have Kyle Walker. He's one of the players who can play right wing quite awkwardly, so that he might be someone that they can utilise there. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And then there's players like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Callum Chambers is technically a right back. Not that he's played for like 10 years. Reece James, obviously coming through, looks like a very good player on this. And he can also play in centre midfield and cover left back, left wing back, right wing to an extent. Kind of Nathaniel Klein, I've got rid of his injury, so he's also available and can play left back. Mason Holgate is probably a bit more of a centre back, but he can play right back. Rob Holding came through at Bolton as a right back, so I've made him a right back basically in the editor. Max Aarons, he can play a bit further forward and at left back and in centre midfield. George Bulldog from Sheffield United, he can actually play right wing as well, very badly. Kyle Walker-Peters can actually play left wing, so he is very versatile. And he can awkwardly play up front, which I did not know. That cannot be true, surely. Has he ever played up front? Who knows? So he is an option up front. Matt Loughton from Villa, he can play a bit elsewhere as well. Ryan Fredericks can play all down the right. James Justin is quite versatile, he can play midfield. Sam Byram can also play anywhere down the right and at left back. Other players like John Joe Kenny are very versatile. So he can play right wing, centre midfield, left back, centre back. Other players I've got in here, Mike Cash from Villa now. He can also play left wing and right wing fairly well, and he can play in behind the striker. So technically, you could play him in the attacking midfield role, in behind Kyle Walker-Peters if you're going to play him up front. Tanganga is more of a centre back, but he's also a right back. Iorfa is a lower league option. So I also went through all the Premier League teams. I also went through Championship teams. Then I went through teams in like League 1 and League 2 to look for right backs who are maybe young and could get in. So people like Dujon Sterling was on loan at Wigan or Coventry, can't remember. Darnell Furlong's at QPR. Sessegnon from Fulham. He can play anywhere across the back. And Bogle can play down the right wing as well. And then we've got a massive players in the under 23s as well. Loads of them. So many right backs. And some of them are quite good as well. So Luke Ayling's in there. He's, I believe, got an injury to start with. But he's actually not that good on this. I think he could be better on Football Manager 21. So in terms of Martin Kelly and Joel Ward from Palace in there as well, they should probably be in the senior squad. He's more of a centre back, but he can play right back. So yeah, that's kind of where we're starting. We've got a lot of younger players in here as well. So people like Adam Senior from Bolton, Luke Matheson, the kid from Rochdale who's signed for Wolves, Tariq Lamptey, who's not very good on this. I suspect he's going to be really good on the new one. But yeah, there's loads of players in there. So I've got a mind to maybe try and play a few games myself. But the main aim of this is just to sim and get into the future and see how they're getting on. I kind of hope the game's going to give them a pretend goalkeeper to play, because I'm not going to go and buy a goalkeeper for them, because that's against the point of the whole thing. So we will go and sim to the start of the season, and then we'll see how they get on in League 2 with only right backs. And we're back on the eve of League 2 getting underway with England Right Backs FC. But while we were simming up to this point, something very strange happened as we were hit with a transfer embargo. Obviously, I've just transferred all these players in, just on a free transfer, just like moved to my club with the editor. And yeah, it looks like we've gone over the player wage bill, so we'll have to do something about that. It looks like they've also played some other friendlies. And Walker-Peters scored twice against Inverness, and they beat Cirencester 5-0 with Matty Cash, Sam Byram, and a brace from Callum Chambers. Then they beat Bath City 2-0 away with Matt Loughton in goal. And they beat Hereford 5-0. Ryan Fredericks getting a hat-trick from holding midfield by the look of it. And Matty Cash on the score sheet again. And Nathan Ferguson scoring a penalty from centre-back. So that's interesting. They've done really well. So one thing I tried to do as well was try and train a player as a goalkeeper, but you're not allowed to do that on Football Manager 20 apparently, which is stupid. So I wanted to train Kyle Walker as a goalkeeper, and he wouldn't let me. And the other thing I should have mentioned as well is in terms of our coaching stuff, I've moved all the England stuff over to England Right Backs FC. So we've got Steve Holland as assistant, which will be helpful when we go on holiday. We're up first against Cheltenham Town. I still don't know whether to do this myself or just let the computer do it. I think we're going to sim it. I'm going to just sim it rather than bother playing it. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of any injuries and suspensions before the start of the season. And then we'll go on holiday and see how they get on. So we went on holiday, and it looks like they've scored a huge victory, 5-1 against Cheltenham in the first game together. and they are top of League Two. So let's see how that happened. What on earth happened? So they won 5-1. Should we watch the goals? Let's watch the goals. We got Fredericks into Matty Cash. And a corner with James knocking the ball into Tamori. And Fredericks looks like he's playing really high at the pitch. That's a great goal. And then Cheltenham come back into it. But this is after 14 minutes. So that's 3-1. Trent set up for a penalty. And then later on, Maitland-Niles with a penalty, cross into Dujon Sterling. Yeah, they look like they played really well. They had a fake goalkeeper in goal. That's annoying. Kevin McDonnell. That's a little bit annoying that that's happened, but I guess it's fair. I'd like them to play Matt Loughton in goal. So I wonder if I go on holiday and say, you have to pick this team, whether that would work. So what I'll do is I'll create the strongest team. So we've got everyone available now. Before there was a few players out. So I think the best right back is Trent, right? So he should probably just, or should he? He's probably the best right winger, I would guess. No, he's not. Matty Cash is apparently the best right winger, but then Matty Cash is also the best left winger. So, but Trent's way down that list in terms of how good he is in that role. He is, however, quite good there. So I think we should play him right back. We should play our best right back and right back, right? Joe Gomez is probably the best centre back along with Tamori. And then James Nesson, I think, is the best left back. Yes. Chambers is the best holding midfielder. Winger. According to this, Dujon Sterling. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to play. Fredericks looked like he played well, didn't he? Let's play him. Midfield. I think Reece James should play. And being a ball winner kind of makes sense as a defender, right? So Maitland-Niles is natural in midfield. Technically, yeah, we'll just play him there. I think Matty Cash is the best left winger. And then Walter Peters is apparently the best striker. What we're going to do is we're going to train him up. And if we leave Leighton in goal, he's not that tall though, is he? Okay, who's the tallest player? Martin Kelly. Fine, you can go in goal. Martin Kelly's going in goal. Dominic Loyofa can be there. Let's just check. Can we make him a goalkeeper? No, we can't. And then on the bench, we haven't got Kyle Walker playing. That is dumb. And Wan-Bissaka's not playing either. You'd think he'd be really good in midfield. And then Reece James needs to train up as a ball-winning midfielder. Matty Cash needs to train as a left winger. I chose this tactic just because it kind of makes sense to have relatively defensive players in. Those like holding midfielder, the ball-winning midfielder, and then not really having an out-and-out winger. So I think we go with that. And then when I go on holiday, just set, Max Aarons needs to be in. He's better than IFL, isn't he? So he can actually play midfield as well. But let's see how that goes. I'm going to sim it for a month and see how they get on. See if it actually keeps the players in goal that I tell it to. And we'll see how they get on.